Your 5.6 quiz that you have tomorrow is solely on factoring. So you have two different types of factoring that you're going to see tomorrow. One where your A is 1, one where your A is something other than 1. When your A is 1, like in numbers 1 through 9 in your review, you're just finding the factors of your C term that add up to be your B term. From there, separate the x squared into x, and then keep those factors, or take those factors that you found from your C term that add up to be your B term and put them with one of the x's. You got to be careful with your signs with these. Remember, if your C term is positive, that means that both of your factors are either going to be positive or both of them are going to be negative. It depends on your B term. If it's negative, you got to see which one you're ending with. So if your B term is negative and your C term is negative, the bigger factor from your C term is going to be negative. If the B term is positive and your C term is negative, the smaller factor from your C term is going to be negative. The other type of factoring that you're going to see is like numbers 10 through 18, where your A term is something other than 1. When that's the case, multiply your A and your C term. Find the factors that can replace your B term. Then replace your B term. You'll have 4 terms, and you'll factor by grouping. If we look at example 1, we have x squared plus 15x plus 50. You want to find the factors of 50 that add up to be 15. So if you don't know them off the top of your head, list them all. You have 1 and 50, 2 and 25. 3 does not go into 50 evenly. 4 does not go into 50 evenly. 5 goes in 10 times. If the 5 is positive and the 10 is positive, that gives you 15. So you don't need to find any other factors. If there were, you would just have x plus 5 times x plus 10. For number 2, you have x squared plus 11x plus 24. So again, you're finding the factors of 24 that add up to be 11. That 24 is 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. If the 3 and the 8 are both positive, you add them. That gives you the 11. So this is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 11. Sorry, not 11. Come on. There you go. So x plus 3 and x plus 8. That gives you the 11 when you add them. For number 3, you have x squared minus 5x minus 14. You want to find your factors of negative 14 that add up to be negative 5. Your factors of 14 are 1 and 14, 2 and 7. That B term is negative, which means the bigger term, or the bigger factor, is going to be negative. So if your 1 is positive, then 14 is negative. Your 2 is positive, the 7 is negative. The 2 and the negative 7 give you the negative 5 that you're looking for. So this just factors to be x plus 2 times x minus 7. Remember with these, if you want to check your answers, FOIL them out. If you FOIL them out, it should be exactly what you started with before you even started factoring. For number 4, you have x squared minus 12x plus 27. Your factors of 27 are 1 and 27, 3 and 9. Your 27 is positive, which means if your B term is negative, both of these are going to be negative. So you want to put your signs there. That negative 3 minus 9, or negative 3 plus negative 9, is going to give you the negative 12 that you're looking for. So this factors to be x minus 3 times x minus 9. For number 5, you have x squared minus 3x minus 18. For this one, you're finding the factors of negative 18. We have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Your B term is negative. So if your B term is negative, the bigger number out of your two factors is going to be negative. So that would be the negative 18, the negative 9, and the negative 6. 3 minus 6 gives you the negative 3 that you're looking for. So this factors out to be x plus 3 times x minus 6. we look at number 10, back on the first page, we have 6x squared plus 17 is equal to 12. We have something other than 1 for our a term, so we're going to multiply a times c. So 6 times 12 is 72. We want the factors of 72. So we have 1 and 72, 2 and 36, 3 and 24. 4 goes in 18 times. 5 does not go into 72 evenly. 6 goes in 12 times. And then 8 goes in 9 times. If you add your 8 and your 9, that gives you your positive 17 that you're looking for. So we're going to rewrite this as 6x squared plus 8x plus 9x plus 12. We're going to factor by grouping. Factor out a 2x from the first set of parentheses. Factor out a positive 3 from the second. Rewrite this as 2x times 3x plus 4 plus 3 times 3x plus 4. Your two parentheses are identical to one another, so this then gets rewritten again as 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 3. For 11, you have 6x squared minus x minus 12. Something other than 1 for a, so multiply your 6 and your negative 12. That gives you negative 72. Find your factors of negative 72. Again, you have 1 and 72, 2 and 36, 3 and 24, 4 and 18, 6 and 12, and 8 and 9. You have a negative 1, that is your b term. So the bigger number is going to have to be negative out of your two factors. If you combine these, the ones that gives you the negative 1 is the 8 and the negative 9. So this gets rewritten as 6x squared plus 8x minus 9x minus 12. We have 4 terms, so factor by grouping. Group the first 2, group the last 2. From the 6x squared plus 8x, your greatest common factor is 2x. From the negative 9x and the negative 12, your greatest common factor isn't only the 3, but a negative 3, so that way you turn that 9x into a positive number. From here, you're going to have 2x times 3x plus 4 minus 3 times 3x plus 4. This then gets rewritten, since your two parentheses are identical to one another, as 3x plus 4 times 2x minus 3. For number 12, you have 30x squared minus x minus 3. So again, we have something other than 1 for a. So we'll multiply the 30 by the negative 3. That gives us negative 90. We want the factors of 90 that add up to be negative 1. We have 1 and 90, 2 and 45, 3 and 30. 4 does not go in evenly. 5 goes in 18 times. 6 goes in 15 times. 7 doesn't go in evenly. 8 does not go in evenly. 9 goes in 10 times. You have a negative 1 as your b term, so your bigger factor is going to be negative. If you do 9 minus 10, that gives you the negative 1 that you're looking for. So this gets rewritten as 30x squared plus 9x minus 10x minus 3. We factor by grouping. Your first two terms share a common factor of 3x. Your last two terms share a common factor of negative 1. Remember, you want your first term of your second set of parentheses to always be positive. From here, this is going to give you 3x times 10x plus 3 minus 1 times 10x plus 3. Your two sets of parentheses are identical, so that just gives you 10x plus 3 times 3x minus 1. For 13, we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Again, our a is something other than 1. So we're going to do 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. From here, find the factors of negative 4. You have 1 and 4, 2 and 2. You're looking for a positive 3. So your numbers are going to be opposites of one another. Bigger number is going to be positive. The negative 1 plus 4 is positive 3. So we rewrite this as 2x squared minus x plus 4x minus 2. We factor by grouping. Your first set of parentheses, you factor out an x. Second set of parentheses, you factor out a 2. So from here, you're going to have x times 2x minus 1 plus 2 times 2x minus 1. Two parentheses are identical. So you're going to have 2x minus 1 times x plus 2. For number 14, you have 4x squared plus 20x plus 12. This one's a little different than the rest of them because with this one you see that you have a 4, a 20, and a 12, and you have a common factor between those three numbers. Your greatest common factor between 4, 20, and 12 is 4. So you can start this one by dividing out that greatest common factor of 4. That's just going to leave you with 4 times x squared plus 5x plus 3. If you try to factor this, you'll realize that you can't because no factors of 3 add up to be 5. Your only factors of 3 are 1 and 3, and if you add them, they give you 4. So you cannot go any further with this. So you just have 4 times x squared plus 5x plus 3. When you're given a trinomial that you cannot factor, it's called that, or it's stated that it's prime. So just like a number like 3, which only factors are 1 in itself, which is prime, it's the same concept when you're given a trinomial that you cannot factor. In this one, though, you can factor out a greatest common factor, which is what we did. So that's why we don't designate it as a prime trinomial. For number 6, you have x squared minus 13x plus 40. Your factors of 40 are 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. Your 40 is positive, that 13 is negative. So both of your signs, or both of your factors, are going to be negative. That negative 5 minus 8 is negative 13, which is what you're looking for. So this factor is to be x minus 5 times x minus 8. For number 7, you have x squared plus 7x minus 30. So your factors of 30 are 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. The 7 that you have, that's your b term, is positive. So that means the bigger number out of your two factors is going to be positive. So the smaller one is going to be negative, bigger one will be positive. You're looking for a positive 7. That negative 3 plus 10, or 10 minus 3, gives you a positive 7. So this is going to be x minus 3 times x plus 10. For number 8, you have x squared plus 3x minus 40. Your factors of negative 40, or just 40, are 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. You're looking for a positive 3. So your bigger numbers out of your two factors are going to be positive. Smaller is going to be negative. That negative 5 plus 8 is 3. So this factors out to be x minus 5 times x plus 8. For number 9, these are the ones that start getting to where your a is something other than 1. So you have 4x squared plus 11x plus 6. Since your a is something other than 1, multiply your a and your c term. So that 4 and the 6. The 4 times 6 is 24. Find the factors of 24 that add up to 11. Your factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. The 3 plus 8 is 11. So this is going to be rewritten as 4x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 6. Now that you rewrote this, you have 4 terms. So factor this by grouping. Group the first 2 terms, group the last 2 terms. From the first 2 terms, your greatest common factor is x. From the last 2 terms, your greatest common factor is 2. This then gets rewritten again to where you have x times 4x plus 3 plus 2 times 4x plus 3. Now that you've rewritten this one more time, you see that your 2 sets of parentheses are identical to one another. Since those 2 sets of parentheses are identical to one another, you're going to rewrite that 4x plus 3 one time and then form another set of parentheses with what you factored out, which is the x and the positive 2. So you just have 4x plus 3 times x plus 2. Remember with these, if you're not sure if you've done this correctly, FOIL it out, combine like terms. You'll be left with the same trinomial that you started with before you even started factoring if you factored it correctly. 15 on the second page, you have 2x squared minus 17x plus 21. We are going to multiply the 2 with the 21. That gives you 42. Your factors of 42 are 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14. 4 does not go into it, 5 does not go into it, 6 goes in 7 times. That 17 is negative, which means both of your factors are going to be negative. The negative 3 minus 14 gives you the negative 17 that you're looking for. So this gets rewritten as 2x squared minus 3x minus 14x plus 21. 4 terms, factor by grouping. From the first set of parentheses, you're factoring out an x. From the second, you're factoring out not just a 7, but a negative 7 in order to turn that first term within that second set of parentheses into a positive. This then leaves you with x times 2x minus 3 minus 7 times 2x minus 3. Your 2 sets of parentheses are identical, so rewrite this one last time as 2x minus 3 times x minus 7. For 16, we have 4x squared plus 7x plus 3. We're going to multiply the 4 times the 3. That gives us 12. We want the factors of 12. That adds to be 7. We have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. If both of these terms are positive, the 3 plus 4 gives you 7. So this gets rewritten as 4x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 3. If you want to also write this as 4x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 3, you can do that also. It's totally up to you. You're going to get the same answer. If you factor this by grouping now, you're going to factor out an x from the first set of parentheses, a positive 1 from the second. This leaves you with x times 4x plus 3 plus 1 times 4x plus 3. Your 2 sets of parentheses are identical, so we have 4x plus 3 times x plus 1. For 17, you have 5x squared minus 9x minus 2. So we're going to do the 5 times negative 2. That gives us negative 10. Find the factors of 10. We have 1 and 10, 2 and 5. You're looking for a negative, so that bigger number is going to have to be negative. Then 1 minus 10 gives you the negative 9. So this gets rewritten as 5x squared plus x minus 10x minus 2. We factor by grouping. Factor out an x from the first. Factor out a negative 2 from the second. This then leaves you with x times 5x plus 1 minus 2 times 5x plus 1. 2 sets of parentheses are identical. So that's 5x plus 1 times x minus 2. For your last one, number 18, you have 7x squared plus 11x minus 6. That 7 times negative 6 gives you negative 42. Your factors of 42 are 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14. 4 does not go into it, 5 does not go into it, 6 goes in 7 times. You're looking for a positive 11. So the bigger number has to be positive, smaller number has to be negative. Negative 3 plus 14 is 11. So this gets rewritten as 7x squared minus 3x plus 14x minus 6. If we factor by grouping, we're going to factor out an x from the first set of parentheses and a positive 2 from the second set of parentheses. So this gives us x times 7x minus 3 plus 2 times 7x minus 3. Two sets of parentheses are the same, so that's 7x minus 3 times x plus 2.